Hey guys, welcome back to Amanda's Favorites. Today I am really excited to do a review for you on the InkWELL Press Daily Planner. This is an undated planner, so I'm not sure why they put 2018 on the cover. I really wish they wouldn't have done that since it's undated, but that's okay. I mean, I don't mind if I didn't use it all up in 2018. I wouldn't mind using it past that with the year on there. I did not do a haul unboxing on this like you guys said you like because I was sick when it came and I was just way too excited to open it. I couldn't wait and my voice has just barely come back now, and so I would have had to wait like a week and a half and I couldn't wait that long. But I will show you, it comes in this cute paper bag with their cute sticker, and it wasn't like a haul because I only got 2 things in this order. So it came in this with her normal, she sends you an inkling, one of her inklings, which you saw in my other InkWELL Press unboxing. It's just a card from her motivation. And then your InkWELL Press welcome family guide. Got another one of those. So you get one of those with every order, I guess, because I have. And then in the order, I only ordered 2 things. This, and I ordered her daily docket notepad. And that is simply because I wanted to do a comparison to the plum paper daily notepad, which I showed you guys in my plum paper haul video. So I will be doing a whole video on that once I've used this one a little bit also. And I've already used the plum paper one for a couple weeks. So I will do a review on those daily notepads and talk about using a daily notepad versus a daily planner. But let's get right into this for those people who are only interested in this daily planner. It is her coil-free bound book design. It is the exact same design as her coil-free planner for 2018, which if you follow me, you know I have her coil-free planner and I have a whole review video on that. I also have a review that just sums up after, getting into it and planning in it for a while, the pros and cons, I think, about that this coil-free design. So if you want to know more about that, I'm not going to go into all the pros and cons of the design of this book and this cover. I'm not going to go into that because I have a whole video on that. I will try to remember to link that below for you guys. Okay, so her daily planner is very different from other daily planners that I have used because it is undated. And I actually love that. If you follow me, you know that I used Emily Lay Daily for several years. I even used it through most of this year, but it morphed into just being my to-do list. So it was not what I pre-planned in or used the monthly to plan ahead. So an undated planner for daily is actually really what kind of daily planner I would use. Because I'm just fine also using a notebook or a daily planning tablet because it is simply just what I make my list of that day and organize the importance and priorities for that day. But her planner does come with a little bit more than just the dailies. First of all, it starts off with important dates and big events and happenings, but she doesn't label it by month. And I love that because she leaves it open that you could use this for anything you want. And since many people will be using this not as their main planner, or as their only planner, I should say, they'll be using it in conjunction with their weekly planner. Most people will, or maybe with just a monthly only. Some people will. There are no months in this daily planner, though, I should say. And you have enough pages to cover about 6 months in here. So they didn't want to make this book huge or heavy. So this only covers about 6 months. If you end up using it every day, you will have to buy 2 of these for the year. That's why I like the undated though, because it gives you the option to not feel like you have to use it every day when you're not having a busy day or when you're on vacation or on your off days or on the weekends. Okay, so after those important dates and big events and happenings, you have your goals. And so she gives you her same goals layout that is in her weekly planner. She gives you the exact same layout. It just doesn't have the same colors. This entire daily planner is in this one same neutral color scheme with just this aqua bluish and grays. So this entire daily planner stays in this color scheme. Okay, so you have your personal, social, financial, health, home, dream big. And then you have a line for each one of those at each checkpoint in the year. And they're not labeled by quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, or quarter four, because you could be using this one daily for an entire year, or you could use this daily for a half a year and need to get another one. So it's broken up into whenever you want your checkpoints to be. You also have room for your mission statement up there. So this is exactly the same layout as her weekly planner. Now let me show you some blank pages before I get into the days that I've used. So every single day is exactly the same. Except let me point this out, and I didn't notice this until I started writing in it. It's not the exact same, because if it was, you see how the date's printed on the right side on this page, but it's printed on the left side on this page. So it's like mirror image opening there for just the top. Okay, the rest of the page is laid out the same. But here, your dates are both in the middle, and then you can circle or cross out or however you want to note your day of the week. I actually really like that design. I love a place to write my date because I do that on my daily list, even if I'm just doing a notebook. I always write the date at the top and what day it is. So I like that. I like having the today's focus. I'm going to bring this up a little bit closer. I'm not having the best lighting from the sun today, so I just want you guys to be able to see the details there. So you have your today's focus at the top, and then you have your to-dos for the day divided into 3 categories. You have immediate, important, and insignificant. Then you have your schedule, and we'll get in and talk about those a little bit more in a minute. And that starts at 5 a.m. and goes until 9 p.m. Now, how they have your scheduled lines broken up with a break in the middle, she said that's how you can denote, like, is it 5 or 5:30? So if you actually have an event at 5 and then another event at 5:30, then you would write those 2 events broken up. You just would have a smaller space to write those events, which I think is really smart too. Then you have a note section right there under your daily schedule. Then you have today's accomplishment box, which I love because it forces me to think of like a big win for the day, something that I'm happy about or proud about or glad that it got done, or just something like I'm glad because I kept my patience with my kids that day, or I kept a positive attitude with them. Just something like that. I even like those type of things. Or it might just be that I finished the laundry for that day. So my accomplishments can vary quite a bit. And then you have a scorecard for the day, which I even love because I think it's kind of fun to think about your day on a scale of 1 to 10 and think, how was I today? Or how did this day go? And then you have 3 blank boxes at the bottom, which kind of mirrors her 3 boxes in her weekly planners. However, I find it very hard to write on the very bottom of a page. So those boxes are hard for me to utilize. Just, like my handwriting doesn't do well there on the very edge of the page when your hand doesn't have somewhere to sit. And I also don't love how, if you are supposed to utilize these boxes, every single page has the inkwellpress.com stamped right there in that box. And that box, that's kind of a big space part of the box that you're supposed to use. And I really wish that wasn't there in a really usable box, because I can see people using these boxes for dinner, for workout, possibly weather, like temperatures for the day. I have not started to utilize mine yet because I keep track of all that in my weekly planner. But since I'm kind of obsessed with like the weather and the sunrise, sunsets, I probably will use one of these boxes to just rewrite the temps for the day. And I write down my workout in my other weekly planner, so I probably won't repeat that there. But so I'm not sure. Might just be big things I need to remember for the day, but then they're at the bottom of the page. So I'm not sure. I haven't decided how I'm going to utilize those boxes. But out of all the daily planners that I have reviewed, honestly, her layout is the best for me. for a daily planner out of all the daily planners that I've reviewed this year. I have mentioned this several times. If you follow me, you know I would rather this planner be in a coil. And normally I wouldn't prefer a coil because I absolutely love having a coil-free book. But for a daily is probably my only exception because I've mentioned it sits next to me on my table spot all day long, which is where I work from and homeschool my son from. And that's just kind of like my home base all day long in the kitchen. That's my home base. And my daily planner or my daily notebook, whatever I'm using at the time, or my daily tablet, always sits there. My weekly planner lays open on my little desk in the kitchen, but I'm not sitting there a lot. I'm at the table. And so my daily list is right next to me. And when this is open next to me, it takes up double the space. If I would have a coil, it would take up half the space. So while I don't prefer a coil for many reasons, in like a weekly planner, but in a daily, I would really prefer to have the choice of a coil. I hope if this planner is popular enough, she might have some more choices for it next year. Like there might be a coil and a coil free, and I hope that she might do some other covers. Because while I love the really professional look of this gray and just with the gold foil, it's beautiful. And the wood grain, and it feels good. It's beautiful. But since I'm not using it in a professional setting, I would love something a little bit more fun. But I understand it's their first year, and so they just went with one, and they're trying it out. I think they did a great job for their first year trying this out, by the way. It is their same paper, 140 GSM, which is their amazing paper. No planner paper can beat it. And that's why this has been the most fun to plan daily on, because I get to write all over this amazing paper all day long. And that is fun for me. Okay, so we will go back here and I will show you guys I've been using it just a couple days. Oh, and I need to also mention, before I show you what I've been using, she puts in here some checkpoints. Let me find the first one. With her mission board in her plan and focus. I love that she added this in here because if you don't want to utilize it, that's completely fine. But if you don't own her other planners, which they have this mission board, that's what this is, and plan and focus page, they have this on every month in her weekly planner. If you don't own her weekly planner, then I think this is awesome to have. And if you do own it, you might just want to transfer your monthly information over to have it in here also. So that's another option. Now there is one difference in her weekly planner. This note section is 3 habit trackers. But she added notes instead in here because this is not dated. Instead, she gave you a whole bunch of habit trackers back here at the very end. So you have your last checkpoint, and then you have 17. Looks like, yeah. Yep, 17 habit trackers here. So those give you a 30-day period. Actually, all these only go up to 28. So yikes. I wonder why. They just wouldn't fit, I guess. But you can only track up to 28 days. I suppose for the longer months, you could draw something in. But you can track your habits, whatever habit you want to track, for a certain 28-day period. So, because it's just a 4-week habit tracker. That's what she wrote in. So basically, the hexagons are to track anything you want. Gym, journaling, scripture reading, keeping up with your laundry. And I really like having a whole monthly habit tracker all together because it helps you see the big picture of like how you did that month on that big thing as a whole. So I love that. But usually each month in her other planner, she has these 3 habit trackers. The 3 habit trackers for the month are right here. You don't have this extra notes section. So in here, I'm guessing she has 4. I'm not sure how many checkpoints she put in here. Anyway, I'm guessing, well, if it's supposed to be for half a year, I'm guessing she put 6 checkpoints. I will have to go through and count those and let you guys know. But 6 checkpoints probably. I will count and put that here in the video. And you have your checkpoints divided into these goal sections: me time, home, be social, financial, health, and dream big. And then you have some blank hexagons also. But I can attest that I love using these in her planner, and you do not have to use her categories. I don't always for each month. Sometimes I ignore those altogether and put what I need to work on or things I need to remember in those hexagons. So I love that you have this extra note goal setting page in here, and that she throws them in between the daily pages. If you need to be able to find them, you might want to put like washi tape on the edge of that page or something to be able to mark it and flip to it easily. Okay, so you have those checkpoints, then you have your habit trackers at the end, and then you have a 2018 year at a glance calendar, and you have a 2019 year at a glance calendar. And we've already talked about if you use this every single day, this is going to last you about 6 months, she said. So let's look at pages I've already used and how they came out. Okay, I will tell you from writing on this page, I mean, it is kind of hard until you get like a good chunk of your book turned. It is kind of hard to write on this page where you're pushing down, but it's easier than writing with a coil here. So I will say that. This book does lay flat. It lays completely flat. That's with her interesting design, which I talk about the pros and cons of in my review of her weekly planner that has this exact same. But what it is it opens up this far, in case you aren't familiar with this, into kind of like an accordion-like cover. But it cannot come all the way off. This is where it's hooked at the back. And this is where all your pages are sewn together. And then it folds back in on itself, and this flaps into itself. It seems very sturdy. I don't think there's going to be any problems with it coming apart or unsewn. At least in my book, I don't see that yet. So many times I've mentioned how dailies, I don't need the time schedule, because many days, I mean, I just don't have a lot of timed appointments. And if I have one, it's like one. So I just use it for other lists and reminders for the day for myself. But this has forced me to think of stuff that I wouldn't normally think of, like my daily focus right in front of me. It's forced me to score myself and to think of my accomplishments for that day. So I have really enjoyed this. I really enjoy her 3 categories: her immediate, important, and insignificant, and how she has the most lines for important, because she pointed out, and she talks about this in her podcast, Productivity Paradox, that you shouldn't have so many events that are like immediate, meaning they must be done that day. They must get done. Maybe they even have to get done first thing that day. Because if you have that many things pressing, I mean, that's too much. You know, you may not get them all done. So immediate is a smaller category, and insignificant is a smaller category, and important is a bigger category. Because these are the things, you know, that we want to get done, but they are not pressing. Like something is not going to, you know, bad is not going to happen in our life if we don't get them done that day. And insignificant to me just means there are things I need. This is what it means to me. There are things I need to get done, but I don't have to get them done that day. And so that usually means that those are things that gets moved to the next day. But I like to kind of have them on my radar in case I have extra time that day. I can glance down and see like, oh, well, that's a simple thing I could just get done. So I am actually really, really enjoying this book. I wasn't even going to order this because the one reason why is I was very hesitant for it to take up double the space on my table spot. And when I only need to see one day at once. And that is still true for me because it is taking up double the space, and I do only need to focus on one day at once. And so it seems extraneous that I have this extra space. But I do love not having a coil. I do love her layout of her page. I wouldn't mind it having a little bit more color in it, or like rotating through 4 colors like her planner does. But I like the color that she's chosen for it. So if I have to stay with one color for the whole year, at least it's a color that's just really muted and mellow, and I like it. So I'm really impressed. I love writing on 140 GSM paper like every day just for my daily list. It feels like luxurious and like just like a treat, really. So I love so much about this planner, and I'm going to continue using it, and I will keep you guys updated on Instagram and possibly do another update video here after I've been using it longer and let you guys know how it's going. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Let me know down below if you use her daily planner, if you got it. I love that it's undated too, because no pages are wasted and you can start it right now. So you don't have to wait for the new year. So that's really fun. If you have been using her daily, I would love to hear about it below and hear what you love about it. And if you use another daily planner, I would love to hear what you use. Because I know some people only use a daily planner and they actually use it for their monthly and future planning. And I understand that this daily may not work for you then, because the way this one is made, it's really made where it works really well in conjunction with you using another calendar or planner, since this one doesn't come with monthly views or dated. All right, guys, happy planning. We'll see you next time.